Hey, good night, everyone. Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. My name is Angel. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I'm just pretty much the kind of person that says what I think based on my experiences in life. Today, I'm going to speak about stocks, and I'm going to speak about um, my experience with stocks and bonds in my limited capacity. So, I'm going to give everybody a little background history about myself. I'm a gentleman that's in my 40s now. Most of my life, I spent working, working, going to school, trying to make the best with what I got. My parents are very, traditional, came from humble beginnings from Puerto Rico, and basically they struggled, working hard, and try to make it through, you know. Um, in their own ways, I could look back and say, hey, they should have did this, they should have did that. As I can myself say the same thing for me. Unfortunately, this is part of the learning curve of life. Is how do you maximize your time and your energy to produce something that you call happiness? The ability to travel, to do things with yourself that in your family that you want to do, spend time with friends, family, etc. How do you maximize, you know, working and living a life that you would want to be happy with? So I'm gonna give you a little history. As I said, I came from the school of thought of work, and you make what you can and you survive. Luckily for me, I did get a great job with the government, and that job did help me move forward in terms of getting some of the things that I wanted in this life. I'm a daredevil. I like motorcycles, jet skis, fast cars, a lot of things that a lot of guys like. I like to travel. I like exotic animals, exotic plants. I pretty much have my own thing. And the things that I like aren't cheap. So basically, I went about my business, splurging a lot of money as I got a little older, going to parties, the usual thing, going to clubs, you know, dinners out there, doing different things that, in the end, you lose your money and you don't have it anymore. That's it. So what I'm going to discuss now is my very limited experience with stocks and bonds. First, I want to tell everybody that I'm not a financial advisor, and anything you hear in this video, you do take it upon yourself. The video is free, and so there are no promises for anything. But I'm going to give you my input on what I think is a good approach, at least for me, on how to make a couple of dollars and make yourself a little happy. First, I want to say that I'm starting with a sizable amount of money compared to other people. Let's just say $50,000 for a number. Okay, so you might not have that kind of money. You might have $1,000. So what I'm going to show you or tell you to do, my experience again, is how to take what you have and make it work for you. Now, a lot of this time that I had money, I put it into the bank. I had a checking account / savings account. And the most you're going to get from that is about, I don't know, a 1%. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You get nothing from the bank. And if you're not using your money, your money is losing value. As your money sits in your pocket, in a little box in the closet, wherever you got it, your money is losing value through inflation. So $100 today in the next 10 years might be worth $50. It might even be worth $20. So you have to be able to take the money you have and make it work for yourself. Okay? So this is basically economics 101 in this sense. And again, I didn't go to school for this. I have no formal training on the economy and on how things work. But I think anyone and everyone can listen to this and perhaps grab something. And if you do, please let me know. And if you don't, I'm sorry. I tried. You know what I mean? I'm not an expert. But if you have something to tell me, please leave it in the comments. Teach me your methods. I'm all open to learn more about pretty much anything in life. So moving along, this is what happened. Around a month ago, let's say about a month ago, I said to myself, I got to do something differently. I got to try to take the money that I have and make it work. Like I said, leaving it in the bank wasn't working. It was a waste of time. But keep it 100%. I looked at some YouTube videos. There's a couple of characters that I saw there. I listened to some things they said, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna give this stock market thing, a run. Now, I tried it before, and I kind of fell asleep on the stocks. I wasn't paying attention, and I lost my money. I said this time, being that I'm not working a lot, I'm not. The pandemic situation is going on. You're in the house a lot of times. I'm doing a lot less traveling, a lot less hanging out. I said, you know what? I'm going to concentrate on how to make money with money. And so I got into the stock market. I took my money. I have a Chase account. You might have Bank of America. You might have another kind of account. Whatever account you have, open your account. And I got TD Ameritrade. You got Robinhood out there. You have e-commerce. There's a lot of platforms. Webull. Any one of those platforms will do. I personally started with TD Ameritrade, and that's just why I use it. I think Robinhood is better. From what I'm told, they tell me that it's a simpler platform. It's more viable for a lot of people. But again, this is what I tried it with. This is what I started with. So this is what I do. TD Ameritrade for me. So I took the money. I opened up an account. Now there's two types of accounts you can open up. I'm giving you everything from the ground level. You have a cash account, which is whatever amount of cash you have, that's all you could pretty much put into the market. And then you have something called a margin account. A margin account is kind of like having a credit card with your money. So instead of saying, I have $50,000 and that's all I could use, you can use a margin account and say, I have $50,000, but I want to buy $100,000 worth of stocks. Great. They will give it to you with a margin account. There's only one catch. Like in anything else, there's a lot of catches. If you don't pay them that money soon, they will take the stocks from you without you, whether you want to or not, to cover their expenses. You have about 3 to 7 days to pay them back. And they're charging you interest on this. And once they see that you're not paying them or that you're not making due, they will be giving you a phone call to tell you, hey, if they're nice, if they're even nice enough to do that, you got to do something, get this money in here, or we're gonna charge off from your stocks. We're gonna take your stocks from you. We're gonna charge off the $50,000 that you owe us, and you don't want to do that. So make sure that if you do get a margin account, buyer beware. If you overcharge your margin and you go into your margin, you better have the money to cover it somewhere, somehow, quickly. So beginners, stay with the cash account if you want. I got a little cocky and I went with the margin account. It's a little scary, but it works for me. I think I got it. Now, real quick. Basically, again, this video is going to be done as a part 1, and I'm going to proceed with a part 2 video on other things. But the beginning to this situation, for a very beginner, for a person who never tried anything, is to basically take your money and make money with it. All right, you need a bank account. All right, you need a phone so you can install the app, or a computer that you can put the app in. That way you can bargain with stocks. Now, once you get into the whole stock market thing, the main thing here is you got to find out, what do you want to do with your money? Do you want to make kind of like nickel and dime? You want to make $10, $20, $50 a day? Or do you want to make, are you trying to go for the big money? What I've seen so far from those that know is always think down the road, think long. Think of how this money is. If you take $1,000, how are you going to make that $1,000, $2,000 or $3,000 by the end of the year? How are you going to multiply your money? Slowly. Slow and steady usually wins the race. However, if you got a lot of money, if you got $50,000, it's a good amount of money. If you got $20,000, it's a good amount of money. You could take $10,000 and go, look, I'm going to put money on this stock because I think this stock is going to be moving fast. It's going to grow quick. It might grow in a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months. And if that's what you want, if you want to get, double-digit gains, you want to get double percentage gains, you want to gain 25%, 30%, 40%, even 200, 300%, something big, then just make sure that you know what you're doing. Do your research on the stock. That's the main thing. Do your research on the stock. First, you have to see if the stock, is it something you like? are, if for example, if you're into saving the planet, this is a stock, for example, that might have to deal with, conserving energy or resources, recycling, something to that nature. If that stock suits your ideologies, then you might want to put your money in that ideology. Okay, that's part of the issue here for some people. Some people say, I want to put money into saving the whales. If you want to do that, then you want a stock that has to do with saving animals or protecting animal habitats, then go for that. But that might not be the most money-making option, so you got to choose wisely. I, per se, like the whole electric vehicle thing. That's your Tesla, your Nikola, which is bankrupt now. Okay, that's a whole lesson by itself. What happened with Nikola? So you guys got to do your homework. That's why I said you got to do your homework on stocks. This guy Nikola bankrupted a lot of people. He defrauded a lot of people. I almost went into that stock. Thank God I did not do it. All right. Look at stocks. Get some opinions from maybe people that know about stocks. Feel free to look at YouTube videos. There's a lot of guys with a lot of good information. There's a guy named George Perez, I believe is his name. I like the guy's attitude. I like his approach. I follow him, and I listen to what he says. There are a lot of guys out here. I'll put some names in my next video on some people that I think should be looked into and who I happen to look at. And I'm going to show them love because, they got a lot of subscribers, and I'm just being fair and showing the love to these individuals who took time to teach us and to teach other people. And so that's why I'm doing it, because I might reach out to a certain target audience, other people that might not consider, and just be honest that I'm starting from the ground level. I'm not a guru. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm literally learning as I go along. And the good thing is that in this journey, hopefully I'll be able to take whoever's out there, yourself, into this journey, and you could see what I make mistakes on and what I don't. So very simply, I'm going to cut it short. If you want to make some money, I think right now, especially with the whole COVID nonsense, is that you want to be in a situation that you can make it from your house. That you're not out there, exposing yourself. If you do fear this situation, I don't. But if you fear it, then you don't expose yourself. And if not, if you want like me, I mean, why work for $50 a day, $100 a day after taxes, whatever it is that you're making, unless you're making $500 a day, If you're making $100 a day after taxes, $200 a day after taxes, and you got money in the bank, $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 or more, I strongly suggest that you consider jumping into stocks, learning from somebody. You get a mentor. If you got to pay the guy a couple of bucks, whatever it is, and get someone that can help you choose wisely on how to move forward with that money. I went to a financial advisor. I didn't like what they were talking. They were talking about, 1.5% of my money. That's a lot of money. 1.5% of 100,000 is $1,500. I'm not giving you $1,500 so that you could play with my money to make money. No, I want to play with my money, and I'd rather do it for free, or if anything, I'll give somebody $100 to give me a rundown and give me a little instruction. But $1,500 was not gonna wash for me. I didn't like the idea, so I told them no. Okay, maybe I made a mistake. Doubt it, because I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. So far in a month's time, I've made about $3,000 to $4,000. Okay, and I'm gonna make a power play and an explanation of what I did, possibly in a couple of videos going forward. I don't want to say it right now because this video is basically a warm-up. This is my first video pertaining to stocks, so I'm giving everybody a rundown on the basics, where I come from. I come from a very poor family. We came from nowhere. First generation college people, and I'm one of those, working hard, and I had no formal economic or financial guidance in my life. And so what I did was, hang out, drink, bullshit, waste money in different ways, instead of using the money that I got to make money and still bullshit and party and have fun. You could do both. but you got to be wise. And right now you might be in a position where you can't do, you know, a whole lot. You might be financially strapped, and you need to know how to use your money to make money. I could say that CDs and you know, banks and all that. That's the minimum money. A CD could give you 2%, 3% max. Stocks, rather bonds, ETFs, most of them give you again 4%, 5%. If you're lucky, 6, 7%. I like ETFs, but I started with ETFs, by the way, and looked at that stands for, I think, I can't remember right now what it stands for, but basically ETFs is a conglomerate, a bunch of different stocks under one roof, and that holding company or that stock itself, if they call it an ETF, it has all these other baby stocks under it. You know, other companies, like 10 companies. Like, let's just say one company could be a pharmaceutical company, another one has to do with real estate, different categories, and they group them up into this house, into one box, and they call it an ETF. You know, and basically at that point, if that gives you a little stability, because if one stock doesn't do too good, the other ones kind of help out and leverage it, so you don't lose a lot of money over time. You gain 3%, 4% slowly. It's a good idea to be conservative if you're thinking about saving money down the road. If you start with 10,000 and you're just saving money and putting 1,000 every month or 500 every month, and that's what you're doing, in 20 years, that's gonna work for you. You might have $100,000, $150,000. If that's what you want to do, ETFs is a good way. Me, I want to make $100 every day. I want to make $200 a day. I want to make $1,000 a day, and I can tell you that I've done that already many times in a month's time. So I'm happy that I came across this situation. I'm happy that I was brave. You got to be a little brave for this, to play with that money, because I didn't want to lose it. And I'm taking a couple of side losses right now, meaning that some of those stocks and some of those ETFs are in the red. However, over time they're gonna grow. So don't panic. That's the thing. Another thing about this, you can't panic. You have to be patient. Like I said, if you have a friend that deals with the stock market, if you have a friend or a person that is that you might want to throw them a couple of bucks to give you a rundown, a one-on-one, I would suggest you do that, just to get your feet wet and get a sense, an idea of what's going on. But I'm actually confident that most of you can do this. I mean, you don't have to be a genius. You just have to have common sense, a little bravery, and some money to play with. Now, whatever you got is what you got. You got 500 bucks. 500 is better than nothing. But of course, if you got 500 bucks versus if you have 5,000 bucks, you can do more with 5,000 obviously than with 5, and you can do a lot more with 50,000 versus 5. And then if you got 500,000, obviously you are at another level. You could do a whole bunch of stuff with that. But my point is, wherever you are, you set a goal. If it's a long-term goal, 500 is a great start. If you want to get money real fast, you might need a little more than 500. But still, something is better than nothing. If you made $5 today with your stocks, okay, it's $5 that you didn't have. So be happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Take it for what it is. All right. I'm gonna close this one up. I hope everybody has good luck. I hope that I motivated you, someone out there, to take their money and make it work, and start on this journey of self-empowerment. Because the beauty about this is that when I first started stocks, when I was very young in the late 90s, I was in the stock market, learning to be a stockbroker. And a book is about that big at that time. It was huge. And I just didn't like the atmosphere. I didn't like a lot of the atmosphere from the corporation that I was working under, which, by the way, is bankrupt at this point, which happened to be Shearson Lehman Hutton, and then it became Shearson Lehman American Express, and then it went bankrupt. Okay, if you've been around, you know that crashed. The stock market crashed, and some big companies, some big names went down. Shearson Lehman was one of them, and I was working with them during that time. I had left before the the collapse. But around that time, though, I had some experience with them. So I was into stocks and bonds, that kind of thing, when I was younger. But I got turned off because of the volatility, the up and down in the markets, and people losing a lot of money. Then it's just, I said, I don't need it and I don't want it. So I kind of ran away from it. But now I'm older, I am a little wiser, and I have a little more structure in my life to decide what to do with the money. So what I'm saying, you guys, is it's never too late and it's never too early to start your portfolio, to start beginning, whether it be one stock or two or three stocks, whether it be one share or 50. Start somewhere, get your feet wet, get the process and the ball rolling, and that's how you start. Okay, be brave, be confident. Thank God for everything. Always thank God. Glory to Jesus, and stay strong, and follow that course. Follow the course on how to be wise with your money. Okay, take care, you guys, and I will try to make a follow-up video explaining more about the situation. Thank you.